Okay, so I wanted to introduce myself for anybody that doesn't know me. So we put this slide in here. I am the New England Territory Manager for our company Synergy. I have over 3 years of experience, about 3.5 years at this point. Background includes sales, marketing, and actually working in the field as a chimney tech. As you'll see, oh, go back one slide. Sorry about that. As you'll see in the bottom left corner, we do have our Facebook page. We do have a YouTube page as well. We do encourage you guys to follow those pages. We pump out a lot of content on both our YouTube and Facebook page. So it's kind of a good way to get introduced to some new products or maybe get a little bit more information on products you guys are currently using as well. So it does say hold questions there until the end. We're not going to follow that rule today, so feel free to interrupt whenever you guys feel the need to. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next slide here. I wanted to lay out our agenda before we got started. So we are going to look at defining IAQ technology, understanding UVC. We're going to go through the ASHRAE recommendations, and we're also going to look at product recommendations in adherence to ASHRAE, both on the residential and the commercial side. And then we are going to look at differentiating our products from our competition as well. Go ahead and jump to the next slide. So a couple questions that you're going to have to ask when dealing with contractors and when contractors are dealing with homeowners, the when, where, and why. So we'll look at filtration, we'll look at UV disinfection, and we'll look at UV air purification. So we included this picture here to kind of give you an idea of what a complete system looks like through observation. So you'll see up in the right-hand corner there, you'll see our Orion next to our filter box. So the Orion is an ion generator, which is basically going to magnetically charge the particles to allow those to get caught in the air filter even better. And then we're going to look at our Solaris, which is going to be in the airstream. That's going to be that picture you see there being circled with the cursor. And one of the big benefits of the Solaris is going to be the ability to add on UVC lamps to go over your coils. So we're going to get into all these products a little bit more as the presentation goes on, but I want to give you guys an idea of what this looks like as a complete system set up in your house. We'll go ahead and jump to the next slide. So some of the common IAQ technologies, we're going to go through each definition, and then we're going to look at a small video on each to kind of give a visual representation on what each of these are. So first is UVGI. This is something that we're really going to want to pay attention to when dealing with indoor air quality. So we talked a little bit about ASHRAE's recommendations at the beginning. This is what they recommend. This is the technology that they recommend in dealing with airborne viruses and bacteria. And UVGI is ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. It's a disinfection method that uses short wavelength UVC light to kill or inactivate microorganisms by destroying nucleic acids and disrupting their DNA, leaving them unable to perform vital cellular functions. So in short, UVGI is the technology that takes place when using a UVC light. Next, we're going to jump over to PCO. Photocatalytic oxidation is a very powerful process that combines UVC irradiation with a substance catalyst, titanium dioxide, TiO2, which results in a reaction that breaks apart the cellular structure of pollutants. So Scott's going to go ahead and click on the YouTube video right there. It's just going to be a short video of what takes place there.
Stand by.
Here's how it works. The UV Photomax advanced oxidation module is coated with an exclusive titanium dioxide formulation. When UV light is applied to the surface, the titanium dioxide coating becomes energized, causing it to release electrons. The electrons then combine with oxygen to create what are known as superoxides. The titanium dioxide then collects replacement electrons from moisture in the air to become charged particles known as hydroxyl radicals. Together with the superoxide, a powerful photocatalytic oxidation, or PCO2, is created. As odors, germs, mold, and other VOC organic molecules approach the PCO2, they are disassembled as the oxidizers pull electrons from them. The purification process is completed, with the remaining molecules recombined to form simple water vapor and trace amounts of carbon dioxide. Ultravation's advanced oxidation process.
Okay, so we kind of saw a visual representation of what that does. So in short, what you're really going to look for with PCO is that it is going to help eliminate allergens, indoor allergens, and it's also going to help kill VOCs, and it's also going to eliminate smells inside the house as well. So next we'll jump over to ionization. This is what I was talking about earlier with the Orion. That's going to electrically charge the air molecules, and it's going to do that by generating negative ions using electricity and discharging them. These negative ions attach to positively charged particles and bond to create dense particles. So this next video won't have any sound to it, but it'll kind of just give a visual representation of what Orion is doing. So you'll see the Orion at the bottom of the screen. It's electrically charging these particles. It allows them to be clumped up together. So your filter that you're going to have on your system is going to be really good, but it's not going to be 100% efficient and still allow airflow through it. So what the Orion does is it helps charge these particles, it clumps them up, makes them bigger, and they're able to be caught inside that filter.
Ron, how big is the field? Is it just between the probes, or is it like an area that charges?
I believe it's an area, and I will get more clarification on what the actual surface area that does take place in. So that is something.
Actually, a great question. I can jump in on that.
Okay.
I like the word field, by the way. Good job. Because that refers to, that's used a lot in the UV, right? So as air is passing by the UV lamp in the airstream, there is a field that's being emitted beyond the product. In ionization, per our engineers and all the product education they give us from Vermont, they've clarified that ionization is literally, it's like a thunderstorm, right? So you're electronically positively and negatively charging these particulates. That's why for the Orion, they do recommend you install it just before the filter. So as your dirty air is coming back into the system, about to be cleaned, filtered, etc., this is going to just release that charging process right before the air hits the actual filter. So that's, they don't refer to it as a field. It's just saying, hey, this is going to be happening in the air all around. So, and actually, they actually said that the charge will actually continue as they keep moving the air through the system. So this charging process, I mean, these particulates will stay charged in the air in your house too, until they get sucked back in again. So that's what's happening 24/7 over and over again. So.
Okay.
Does that help?
Well, yeah, and it's not going to create static electricity in the home, right?
Correct. Yeah, this is not a, that's a different charge.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, different process. So.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on from this one. So we did talk about ASHRAE's position on this, and I touched on it a little bit with the UVGI. I'm not going to get into every definition that and all the publications that ASHRAE put out on this. I will send you guys this in a follow-up email after the training today, so you guys can go through and read for yourself. But in short, their position and their recommendation is using UVGI technology, which can only be found in UVC lamps, to kill airborne viruses and bacteria. So that's what they're recommending. That's what we're going off of, and that's what we wanted to gear our presentation towards. So I'll send you both of those links after the presentation so you guys can read for yourselves. It's just a couple of long pages that we really don't want to get into too much on the training today. So we can go ahead and jump to the next. So understanding UVC energy, as we just spoke about, UVGI is a technology that takes place in the UVC or germicidal light. So I want to direct you guys first to the little chart there that says ultraviolet light, and it's going to show a representation of UVC versus UVB, UVA, and how that identifies on the spectrum from all the way from X-rays to visible light. And you'll see how high up UVC is compared to everything else. And the reason that is the case is because the UVC is the most concentrated energy packet found in the UV spectrum. UVC is the most dangerous form of ultraviolet energy, rendering microorganisms lifeless in a fraction of a second. Very destructive, this tight packet of energy does not reflect or refract nearly at all. This is partially probably why it's recommended, because it is dangerous, but it is extremely effective as well. So go ahead and jump on to the next slide. So we try to put this in the most simplistic terms possible. When you're talking about UVC and UVGI, it does get a little confusing. So we wanted to put this in simplistic terms. So we listed a few bullet points here to understand UVC versus UVGI. So UVC is the name of the lamp type and is also part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which we just looked at. UVG is the technology / the tool that is generated by using a UVC lamp to sterilize, neutralize pollutants, which we spoke about as well. The UVC directly on the coils does UVGI on the coil. UVC lamps in the airstream by themselves do UVGI in the airstream. UVC lamps in upper room do UVGI in upper room. UV lamps or UVC lamps used in combination with titanium dioxide coated products do UVGI in airstream plus PCL. So it is fair to say that if any of the products with UVC lamps do UVGI in addition to other technologies that UVGI may be combined with. So jump to the next. So understanding our lamps, we do have a patented T3 class UVC lamp. So this is going to be a UVC lamp. It is going to produce the UVGI technology, and it's going to do that at a rate of 40% more energy because of the patented T3 class mixed with the quartz sleeve that encases the UV lamp. So that technology allows for higher levels of UV disinfection, lower overall electrical cost. Lamps are protected from moisture and debris, allowing for longer service life. These lamps are an 18,000 hour lamp, so roughly 2 years that you would want to replace these. As you see in the chart there, you'll see a typical UV lamp is the red dot in the middle, and you can see its operating efficiency, and then you can look up above that at the green dot, and you can see that UVC lamp's efficiency, and that is the T3 enhanced lamp. So go ahead and jump to the next.
And Ron, real quick, just to clarify, we do have two types of lamps, just so people understand, correct?
Correct. You guys, or whoever wants to, can go with the standard UVC lamp, but you do have that option to add on the T3 class UVC. I think a lot of people, it seems, are going to the T3 just because of the more efficiency, or I'm sorry, the more energy, and also the idea of only having to go in and replace it every 2 years. So go ahead and jump to the next. So another question we're going to have to ask is, when judging whether to treat the coil or whether to treat the airstream or whether to treat both. So big question is, what are you solving for? So on the right, you'll see that chart list a bunch of different viruses and things of that nature. And you can see in the blue, which will represent coil treatment, and then the green, which represents airstream. So if you go all the way down to the bottom there, you'll see that coil treatment will almost get you to 100% effectiveness, efficiency when just treating the coils. But when you go all the way up to the top, you'll see the ecovirus, which If you just treat the coil, you're only about 23% efficient. But if you treat the coil and the airstream, you're almost at 100%. So when you're looking to what you're solving for, some people have particular things they're trying to solve for. Maybe it just requires a coil treatment. Maybe it requires a coil and airstream treatment. We typically recommend that you do both the coil and the airstream, just so you can become more efficient when dealing with all these different viruses. So go ahead and jump to the next.
And if I could just add, that chart is very helpful because if you don't know all the scientific terms, it's no big deal. But the reason why it's showing almost 100% at the bottom is because those are bacteria. And obviously, as you increase to more of an airborne concern strain like airborne viruses, that's why you're seeing the efficiency drop on the blue, and then needing to get the green to get that airborne treatment helping as well.
Correct. Right. So we did want to make a couple recommendations for coil treatment and airstream treatment. So if you are looking, we do have a couple different options. Here you'll see listed the Advantage Power PCO, which is a pretty beefy version if you're just trying to treat coils. We do have other applications or other products that can do over the coil treatment with not as much technology in it. So the Power PCO, I'll go through real quick. It's a 2-year replacement. It does have the T3 bulb with 40% more UV. It is PCO infused carbon, and it also does have the PCO coated panels. It does have self-cleaning oxidation and no byproducts, no ozone. That is something some people do like, is the idea that there is zero ozone in your house. Some people don't like the smell of the ozone, so we do have products that do not produce ozone as well. So removes common odors, and that's going to be because of the PCO. So cooking, trash, bathrooms, laundry, smoke, smog. If you have pets, anything like that, it's going to help remove those odors. And one of the big benefits to this and a lot of our products, when you're treating the coils, you do not have to replace just the lamp. You replace the entire system. So, and the cost justifies replacing the whole system instead of just the lamp. And the homeowners can't buy just the bulbs and replace them themselves. They'll need a contractor to come out to replace the whole system for them. So go ahead and jump to the next. So here we have the Solaris, and this is what we usually push people towards. And the reason being is that the Solaris is recommended for residential airstreams. So you'll see from the picture there, you'll see it in the airstream right next to the blower. The biggest benefit of this is that you can treat the airstream with it, but you also do have the ability to add on a coil lamp, UVC lamp to go over the coils. So the options include a 12-inch or a 17-inch, and it's basically like a plug-in. You add it to the Solaris, and that goes over the coil, and then you have that Solaris in the airstream. So you get the best of both worlds when you're trying to treat for bacteria and viruses. And some of the hot points include, it does have the active photocatalytic silver ion oxidation, 4 times plasma generation, helps kill household odors, kills bacteria and viruses. It does give you that thunderstorm fresh air from electrically charging the particles in the air, and it does have a lifetime warranty on it. We'll get a little bit more into the warranty on this a little later on, but our Solaris basically mixes all of the technologies that we spoke about previously all in one. So you do have the PCO, you do have the UVC lamp generating the UVGI technology, and you do have ionization all in this one product. And then with the ability to add on the extra UVC lamp to go over your coils is really what makes this stand apart. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next slide. We also do have UVC lamps for mini splits. You guys are probably very familiar with the amount of mini splits that are in New England or the Northeast in general. They're kind of taking over the world up here. So instead of doing something like ionization, we do have UV lamps for mini splits. So we did want to include this just because of mini splits being so popular, and people do need to regularly maintain these. I think people are finally jumping on board and doing whatever it takes to maintain these, whether it's cleaning them once a year or adding something like UV lights onto them. So it does help keep mold away from the fan coil and other surfaces, stops bad odors. It is super compact. You'll see that it has two 7-inch, very slim lights that are attached. You do have the ability to either do just one of those lamps or both of them. It's going to come with both of them regardless if you choose to use both of them or not. It does have a 3-year system warranty and a 1-year lamp warranty. So every year if people are doing their yearly maintenance calls on these, then you can, it's pretty easy to replace just the bulb on something like this. We'll go ahead and jump to the next. All right, so we wanted to give a competitive analysis on our products versus some of the other products you'll see out on the market. This is our direct competitor with the Remy Halo and the APCO. So this is our exact cross reference. It does use the same technology as our competitors, delivers the technology in higher doses, is more efficient in treating the air, and offers a lifetime warranty, all important advantages over our competitors in this category. This product also offers the essential option of a plug-in for a coil lamp that will do UVGI technology that we spoke about. We're going to go ahead and bring up this comparison sheet to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see some of the key differences. I'll also send this to you in the follow-up email as well. All right, so just looking at the base operation, I want to kind of focus on the Remy Halo versus our Solaris, since it is probably the more popular competitor out there, and it's probably the most similar. So they both use active PCO. Additional technologies, you'll see that ours does a dual band UV bipolar ionization, UV surface and air disinfection. They do a bipolar ionization. UV lamp, we have a dual band 10-inch. They have a single band 6-inch. You'll see catalyst surface area and reactor dimension. That is just basically talking about the surface area where the PCO mixed with the titanium dioxide takes place. We have a much bigger surface area for that to happen. If you're looking at the construction, this is going to be very important for your contractor, especially when installing and just in general. Ours does have a stainless steel and aluminum construction. Theirs is plastic and aluminum. If we scroll down a little bit more, all right, so we do have our PCO coating for odor reduction and airstream disinfection. We do have the exclusive patented titanium dioxide / silver blend PCO coating. Silver ions reduce pathogens in the air and on surfaces. They do have the titanium dioxide blend with zinc ion disinfection emissions. So PCO adjustability, that is going to refer to the amount that you can adjust the PCO taking place on your product. We have a 4-inch adjustment range. They have a 2-inch adjustment range. That is basically, both of these products do emit ozone, nothing to be concerned about. They are both extremely safe, but we do have the ability to turn ours down, as do their product, but we can turn ours down even more. So you do have that 4-inch adjustment range where they only have 2-inch, and when you adjust theirs, it restricts the UV disinfection. When you adjust ours, it never blocks or limits the UV disinfection. So going down to electronics, lamp monitoring. So that's basically referring to, we're going to have a visual representation of when our lamps are no longer effective. So at that 2-year mark, you'll start to see some sort of indication on there that says you need to replace that lamp. Theirs does not have that ability. As far as ionization for particulate reduction and surface disinfection, we have a 4 needle point electrode negative and positive ion generator. they have a 2-electrode negative and positive ion generator. Expandability, this is one of the most important and beneficial parts of the Solaris versus our competitors, is the idea that you can expand it. You can add that extra UVC lamp or even an additional PCO module that you can mount over the coils there, where they do not have that expandability. The next very important and beneficial thing is the warranty. We do have a lifetime warranty on our entire system with a 2-year warranty for our UV lamp. So they have a 2-year PCO warranty with a 5-year ballast and no warranty on parts that are outsourced. So if you look at it in a way that ours has a lifetime warranty and our lamp has a 2-year warranty, if you're replacing that lamp every 2 years like you're supposed to anyway, this thing always is in warranty. It always has a lifetime warranty on it. So go ahead and minimize that and we'll jump to the next slide. Wanted to talk about the ion generator, our Orion, that we've kind of gone over already, just to give you a kind of a visual representation of it. It does have the magnetic part to it, so it allows for easier installation. You can wire that straight into your system, or we can provide you with an outlet for a wall as well. Go ahead and jump to the next. We did want to show that you can complete the entire system with ultravation, whether you're doing ionization, whether you're doing UV over the coils or in the airstream. We also do provide the filter boxes and the filters. So we do have MERV 11 filters and MERV 13 filters. We can provide you with the straight throughs, which you see there. We also do have the right angles that we don't have up on the screen right now. And we do have the support boxes. Our support boxes are really popular too. It's kind of a unique option for people. A lot of sheet metal shops do manufacture these, but not to the quality and the benefits that you'll get from one of ours. Ours do come insulated with the filter inside them already. They are designed specifically to support your system. Doors on both sides, and like all of our filter boxes, you can have these painted to match the color of your equipment, and we can also silkscreen print the name of the contractor on the door. So it's kind of a private labeling thing, if you will, and just aesthetically, these look very good, especially if they're in a spot where the homeowner can see these. And then if you're a contractor, you basically get free marketing by having your name put on there. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next. So I wanted to go through some commercial options, the UV Matrix SI first. So some of the benefits is that it does have biogrowth prevention, allergy relief, efficiency optimization, elimination of coil cleaning as a result of biocontamination, and airstream disinfection. Just kind of an idea of what that's going to look like. And then we're going to jump to the next. We do have commercial products for rooftops. We do have the NEMA, or heavy duty rated enclosure for outdoor use applications. And this does do all the same things that we just spoke about with the previous coils, with the allergy relief, the biogrowth prevention. It does require limited space requirements for this. So it does, installation goes well with something like this. You can mount this over the coil or in the airstream. So we'll jump to the next. And if you didn't need that enclosure, you would go with something like the UV Matrix. So if you're not doing a rooftop and you still want to treat the airstream, you would do the UV Matrix AS. And again, all the same benefits, but you do have the availability to go with the PCO catalyst as well. Go ahead and jump to the next. So if you remember very early on in the presentation, we talked about upper room applications. Ultravation does have a product if you want to add even more UV disinfection to a commercial building, or you're trying to treat a room or a building that does not have ductwork, you would go with something like the FS series. So the FS series is mounted towards the ceiling. You do have to have a 7-foot minimum installation height requirement to be able to install these to assure safety of the occupants. I'll go ahead and read the definition here so you guys get an idea. The UV Matrix FS series germicidal ultraviolet air disinfection for commercial and institutional application destroys airborne pathogens in the air by exposing the upper regions of the room only to germicidal UV light. As air naturally circulates in a room, all the air will be exposed to UV light. Yet the design makes it possible for the room to be occupied during the time that the disinfection process takes place, which is the ideal time to reduce the risk of spreading infection, as well as allowing continual air disinfection. It does have a very slim design to it. Something like this, as well as all of our commercial and even our residential products, if we do have a fill-out sheet, like a survey, if you will, that will have your contractors fill out when they're looking to add either the FS series or any of our commercial applications, to where they have to measure certain things and let us know different things about what they're trying to solve for, and then we can recommend products to your contractors. We'll go ahead and jump to the next. And I think that concludes it. So go ahead and unmute everybody, and if you guys have any follow-up questions, now is the time.
Ron, the Solaris and then the UV, can that be, I saw on your site that you guys have a module that can control all that? Or is that not compatible with the Solaris?
So are you talking about the power module?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is going to be available. It's not right now. It will be back available in the fall. They're on a huge back order right now when it comes to those things. I think they put it out and didn't realize how popular that they actually were going to be.
Well, let's pause on that. What are your specifically? I think I know what you're asking about. So what do you mean by power module?
I'm just asking that. So that does that power module allow you to plug in the Solaris?
See, this is what I want to clarify. Yeah, we don't. There is a more advanced tier of the Solaris. Like there's a whole package of all our tech. That's what Ron's hinting at. That's the advanced stuff. That Solaris unit will power the coil lamp. It comes with a Y wire. So that's the advantage of the Solaris, is that the contractor only has to tap power for one wiring process. He's going to power the main head on the Solaris induct unit. And then there's a Y wire that comes right out of the head, and you run it down to the coil, and that powers the coil lamp. So,
but also that module, you can do the Solaris, the UV lamp, and the Orion, correct?
Well, the Orion technology is inside the Solaris in the ballast. So you don't, you can always add the Orion. Like Ron likes to promote the Orion still, but in the description, it said 4X plasma. There's 4 electrodes inside the Solaris system doing the ionization, which the Orion actually does. So,
so you wouldn't use,
But to your point, if you did want to add the Solaris, you did want to add the extra UVC lamp over the coils, and you did want to add the Orion, when that power pack is available, yes, you would wire that directly into your system, and then you could plug the Solaris and the Orion into that. But everything does wire straight into your system. You do have the option on the Orion to plug that into the wall if you want to go that way.
But isn't one of the systems designed to go in the supply, and the other one is designed to go, even though, and you said it has the electrodes, where the other one would go right near the filter?
The Orion, yes. The Orion goes by the filter.
Yeah, but the Solaris would positively and negatively charge the air regardless, and then clump it together for the filter.
Yeah, if you're looking for the one-stop shop, like Ron said, Solaris has got it all.
It's just 24 volts, right?
Correct.
Or you can get a transformer if you want to plug it right in. You can do that too. But most guys are just tapping 24 volts off the system.
Okay.
I believe the Solaris actually comes with a transformer too.
Yeah. Okay. It's in the kit, but
it's most effective for the fan to run 24/7, obviously, right?
Correct.
That's a great point. That came up last week, Ron, right? Yeah. So it's like, well, what if they don't need cooling? They don't need heating. Well,
You just constant fan, yeah.
right. Like obviously Ron brought it up in the training call today. We have high end filtration. Well, that I tell people all the time, like UV is great, but if you have a cheap little 1-inch Home Depot filter, you're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
Even if you add our Orion on, I mean, it might help a little bit, but that's not a real filter. So we should be
it's still
filtering
just
our
gonna
air
go through.
24/7. Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I'm trying to think. 24/7. Can you? I mean, obviously, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to figure. Some people have fixed speed motors, so it's going to be pretty loud in the house all the time. But
Are you concerned with what, the air not moving versus moving? Or?
no, like with the fan on all the time. Some people.
Yeah.
I know that.
I get what you're saying.
But guys, people with older furnaces or air handlers, it's going to be quite loud.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, long story short, UV is
The
always
only way
on.
to do it.
Yeah, UV is powering 24/7. That's why it's an 18,000 life or a 9,000 hour life bulb if it's entry level or T3. And as Ron pointed out, once the air starts moving, even if it's not moving, it's going to be passing by that field as you guys mentioned and getting treated. So.
Yeah, so I always try to push Solaris pretty hard just because it is your one-stop shop for everything. And I mean, people can start off with the Solaris just to treat their airstream, and then you can always upgrade to the extra UVC lamp to go over your coils. Later on
at any time.
So,
okay.
that's it.
And then, were you able to find any third-party testing on that or results on that?
Scott, maybe you can speak to this a little bit more. So I know the idea of UVC and PCO being a proven technology is already out there.
Yeah, it's been out for over 10, 15, 20 years. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Just some homeowners and contractors are always looking for, third-party data just to.
Well, Ron, if you sent them the links to our recent blog articles that I put out on the site, we have the links directly to chapter, it's either 26 or 62, if might be dyslexic, of the ASHRAE handbook. So ASHRAE they don't publicly put out the entire handbook, but they put out that specific chapter so people can understand UVC, UVID, and then we also have a link to the CDC, which specifically calls out the UVC spectrum of light.
Yeah.
So it's recognized as and if the CDC has it, there's your science, because all of this stuff has been proven by what's called the scientific method, which is used across everything. And that's why we don't need to literally say COVID on the list. It's all airborne bacteria, all airborne viruses, all that. Yeah.
I'm just, just because it's the Solaris is an active mechanism versus a passive, and I just didn't know if you guys had third-party data on kill rates on surfaces.
Oh, actually, so that's a great clarification.
That's the only thing I'm.
Active versus passive. Ron, do you want to clarify that?
You can go ahead. You're probably a little bit more well-versed than I am.
Simple as this.
I get the difference, yeah.
I have our picture the Solaris, but with all carbon on it. That's what I have in my house. It's a complete zero ozone product. I don't have ionization though. So that's one of the biggest clarifications is, okay, well, I have carbon helping me remove ozone. Solaris is not a zero ozone product, but I can adjust the Solaris. But that's one of the biggest differentiations for active and passive. So if that helps. Because when you looked at that, when he sends the cross-reference back over, you notice that the APCO product in the middle was listed as a passive PCO because you have carbon on that. So we have a catalyst, like that APCO product only had, and I'll screen share again for that, that only had one strip of carbon on it.
Yeah.
Our UV catalyst is what blows away the APCO because they have metal and carbon, kind of like our Advantage PCO that Ron presented on earlier. But we have a beefy system like the Solaris, but that has 3 strips of carbon on it. So that'll give you that passive PCO versus active PCO. So they all are doing a PCO. It's just, in order to get passive, you have to have carbon that pulls the ozone byproduct, back out. Cause that's the advantage of carbon is it removes odors and everything else. So does that help a little bit?
Yeah, a little. I mean, I was regarding passive as it only disinfects the airstream coming over it versus active that kills on surfaces in a home like the Remy and I think the Solaris.
Yeah, that's not what they meant by that. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a great clarification.
Yeah.
Because that's why we also recommend, obviously filtration, steps
Yeah.
in the IAQ process, and then coil. Like for the past 2 years, I've had 2 UV lamps, a different system that we sell on my coil. Because I couldn't fit a bigger module into my little system here. I have a house built in 1910. It's an old small house. So, and then 2 weeks ago, I had my contractor come in, do his annual service because I care about my IAQ. I've put out videos about this. People, let your contractors come in and service since we're recording this. And I had him put in the catalyst system because I'm flipping this house into a rental and I don't ever want to have to worry about somebody having a possible sensitivity to ozone. So I said, you know what? I'm going to throw the catalyst in. And then if I get bored, I'm going to add the Orion in later to get me the ionization that I needed. So, because we have access to all the toys.
I gotcha.
But that's a good point. Yeah. But I always tell people, like, if you're not treating your coil, but you're just treating the airstream, your coil could become a petri dish because that's where stuff is collecting on that cold surface. And now that we're coming from spring into summer, our cooling systems are going to start kicking on. And this is why I stress people cleaning your system and having your PM work done. So, cool.
That's all I got.
Awesome, cool. And you guys do have access to the UV lights for the mini splits as well. Really try to push those and include those in the presentation just because I know there are competitors out there that do ionization for mini splits, but if we're going off of what the ASHRAE recommendations are and their position on killing bacteria and airborne viruses, you really need UVC lamps. So I always try to promote that and push that a little bit. And it's not a very expensive product either. It's pretty easy installation, wires right into your system as well. And it's one of those things where you can replace the bulbs every year when you go out to clean your mini split anyway. So those things should be cleaned at least once a year, depending on where they're at. And you can replace the bulbs and keep those as free of bacteria and viruses as possible.
Yeah, and I'm sure Ron sent you this stuff, but on smsteam.co where our blogs are at, this is that add-on lamp that he's referring to in the image here.
Yep.
So that'll plug directly into the power head of the Solaris, and then my contractor will just come back and give me new T3 bulbs every 2 years. He just pops that power head off, takes 2 screws, pulls the UV out of the Solaris, and then the same thing goes. I mean, obviously, it's a magnetic mount. Mine are hard mounted actually, so I actually had mine screwed into the actual unit. But our stuff will come with a magnet option as well. So
what's the replacement like on the Solaris? Like how easy is it? Just a twist off or what kind of?
Oh yeah, that power head. It's just it's if you look at it, just 4 screws, but the first 2 are used to mount the unit onto your ductwork, so you never have to take those off again. The other 2 just hold the power head.
It out and
so it's 2 screws. You just pop the whole power head off, and then you'll see the bulb right there. You just take 2 screws, pull the bulb out, pop the bulb in, put the power head back on. Done. Yeah.
And what was the lead time on the units? Was it weeks or so?
Last time I checked, which was probably last week, they are running about a 2-week lead time on the Solaris.
Depending on the quantity.
Right. I think I gave them an example of what if somebody ordered like 5 of them. Yeah. I think there was like a week and a half.
But like a month ago, it was 6 weeks because they got slammed. So that's why this stuff is always changing, because now we're recording this. I'll timestamp this since we have that recorded April 8th, 2020. And they've already dropped it down to about a 1 to 2 week window, depending on quantities. Like obviously, if you place a 50 to 100 unit order, that might have a different turnaround time.
Right. And you mentioned the power pack earlier, which is out until fall. So I asked those guys about that the other day, and they're like, I don't even want to talk about that right now. So they're so far out.
And the beauty is that's like a major upgrade. Like if you want to have all of your stuff powered off of one control panel, that's like, okay, do I need the Mercedes yet? No.
Just to get some kind of filter. I mean, disinfectant in the house would be good.
Yeah.
But
those are good questions.
Just to clarify one more time, the Solaris does kill bacteria and viruses on hard surfaces in a home or no?
No, the add-on lamp. No, actually, oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. So
All of this
Yeah.
is HVAC system related.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, when that air is leaving and passing through that, you're breaking it down as it passes by those fields. This is, you cannot kill a surface unless you have a UV lamp mounted right. Like if this is my surface here on my mic arm, I need to have a UV lamp right here.
Yeah.
And then I can ensure that nothing's going to grow on that. So if somebody
I gotcha.
walks in with a contaminated UPS box and puts it on the counter,
Yeah.
we're not dealing with that. Okay.
Yeah.
We're dealing
Yeah.
with keeping your HVAC system clean. Now, once that air in that room is pulled back into the system, if you have that coil mounted, coil lamp, nothing's going to grow on the coil because we're inhibiting growth with that coil lamp. And then as it passes by, now we're going to kill whatever's airborne passing by. So that's a great clarification. People are like, oh, that means all of my surfaces in my entire home stay clean. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it'd be pretty impossible.
Yeah, you'd have to have a UV lamp mounted over every surface, and then you couldn't do that because UV light is dangerous, and you don't want it shining into your eyes and burning your retinas, and et cetera, et cetera. So
I get you.
yeah, that's a great point. So,
Yeah.
but the good thing is the stuff coming through out of your air, what's being circulated is being killed and broken down 24/7.
Yeah,
So
I get you. Thanks.
Scott, I'm not 100% well versed on this, so maybe you could speak to it. I know Mike mentioned something about people keeping their fan blowers on the whole time, how that can be noisy. What do you think about the UVP 6000, which is just a plug-in unit? It's
great product.
basically
So here's the whole thing. Once you power these up, these bulbs are using less electricity, especially if you're using our T3, than a regular light bulb. So that's why they're 24-volt systems. So people worried about electric bill, whatever, dude, that thing is going to burn 24/7 as long as you got power for the next 2 years. You either move your air past it or you don't. That's up to you. You want to turn your fan off, great. Just don't turn that bulb off because people ask if you do an on-off switch. Now, to your point, we do make a product that if you don't have ductwork, or I see your point here, Ron. Let's say people are concerned about having their system on and off, et cetera. If they want to add another layer, we do make a desktop unit. It's stainless steel. It's very sharp. It's designed to treat a 500 square foot space. It does have the UV bulb in it, and it has our carbon in it. So it's doing that whole, we were just talking about active versus passive, but it's a desktop unit. And it's meant really I'd use it for contractors to prove to somebody that, hey, if you don't think this stuff works, put this in a room and then call me in a week. And if you don't notice cleaner air, less odors, et cetera, then, let's have a conversation. But you could just stick it in a room. It just plugs right into the wall because it's already got the power converter in it. I've had guys, if they don't have ductless and they don't have ducted, they have an office space that just for some reason never got ducts run to it, or the company they're working in doesn't want to treat the air in their ductwork, then great, just buy this desktop unit and throw it in the room.
Gotcha.
So
it's
I'm
like
not sure.
it's like a 9x9. It looks like 9x9 unit.
Yeah, very small footprint. Here, I'll bring it up for the screen share because we have it on the website. We have literature on it. Ron can send you all this, but here's a representation right next to a set of car keys. It's a nice, sharp, all brushed stainless steel unit. You can see the carbon right behind the holes we have cut out. And you could either put this on a desktop or you can mount it on a wall.
Okay.
So but it's got all the photocatalytic on it.
Up to 500 square feet. So
up to 500 square feet, right.
It wouldn't be a big deal if you put it in an office that's, like 10 by 10 or 8 by 8 or whatever.
No, because you have the carbon in it. So you don't have to worry about that ozone smell. And people always ask me, what is an ozone-y smell? And I'm like, okay, it's like a doctor's office or it's like a sterile environment. But yeah, so, and obviously, this is a great piece of literature, Ron, you should send this over because there's the catalyst I have in my house, has 3 strips of carbon. Here's our Photomax that existed before the Solaris. Obviously we recommend the Solaris now more because there's way more tech in it. But yeah, that UVP 6000 is a great handy device.
Okay.
I don't always do a lot of heavy training on it. It's kind of like the unsung hero.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm actually thinking for, people who are going to be going back to work for, in the next 2 months or whatever, and they're going back in their office and they don't have the ability to say, hey, boss, clean my air. So they can just buy that. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And as you saw, Ron did on today's training, we have commercial solutions, but if and when a company ever gets that stuff installed, I mean, obviously it's standard on hospital designs, medical campuses, and a lot of universities. Actually, Ron, you're working on a project with an airport right now. So it's proven commercially as well. It's just if and when a company's going to recognize that and get it installed, two different things. So.
Yeah,
We have a company up in Vermont that's working on Manchester's airport here in Manchester, New Hampshire. They're also doing like a university, a law school up in Vermont and places like that. So a lot of these places are reaching out, it seems like, and asking about it. But regardless, if you guys are more residential focused or commercial focused, we do have those applications for both.
Nice. Should reach out to St. Anselm around.
Yeah, it's probably about 20 minutes from my house, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that Ron can clarify or I could piggyback in on?
No, that was pretty good. I think.
No, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there teaching about UV and indoor air quality, but as you could tell, we've really worked hard here to really stay aligned with what is documented, what is approved, so to speak, from ASHRAE, what is recommended from CDC. And again, because we have a lot more tech and a lot more products out there that observation makes, but we're not, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And did you guys, I sent you the pricing over on the Solaris and everything already, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So you guys have all that? Okay.
Yeah, I have it all.
Cool.
I think you included, I'm not sure, you included the filter boxes and stuff too, right? The stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we do stands through the sheet metal company we buy from, like Southwark and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be worth looking at, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insulated, they look nice.
Oh, yeah.
What gauge metal is it? Is it 18 or 20?
20 some 24,
26?
28, maybe
Okay.
26.
That's
I
funny.
know,
I don't. It's hard trying to memorize all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I know it's in the 20s.
And they color match to almost every brand or every brand?
Every brand.
Yeah, every brand. If you guys wanted it hot pink, I'm sure they probably make an exception. But
They might have to update their color palette on that one.
Yeah.
Is it powder coated or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, we do. I'll send you our brand and maybe we can get some pricing on color matched and all that kind of stuff.
Trying to see if they actually put it on the general literature or not. We have all the spec sheets on it. I just wanted to see if it was on our general filter overview. As you can see here, right angles, straight throughs, support boxes.
The support boxes for us are most popular with hydronic air handlers for our customers.
Yeah, like that 900, that 9-0003.
33.
Yeah, there's like 3 to 4 different models of this, depending on the size openings you need for the equipment. The beauty is, because all of our stuff is sold with the filters already in the box, because we need to teach people that the right filtration is important, because again, from a MERV 11 to a MERV 13 performance, you're going to trap a lot more airborne particulates here. And we don't have the pressure drop issues. Ron has access to this on our Dropbox file system. If anybody ever asks for, pressure drop, our MERV 11, MERV 13s have more filter in it. So thanks to having more surface area, we don't have to weave them as tight. So you don't have the pressure drop problems that HEPA filters have and everything else. And when I keep converting contractors left and right here in Pennsylvania and also upstate New York, the support boxes are a huge win. They still do their own fab, or they buy a basic galvanized for their entry level stuff, but they're using the support box for their better, best solution, because they're getting them. Some are getting matched, some are not. White is standard. But the higher end guys are getting them all private label with their name on the door. But they love it's well insulated, well gasketed. I've compared against I found one of the support box out there, and I could see all these little spots where there was blow by. Like they didn't gasket it perfectly tight on the inside.
What's the air leakage on that? Because these guys
we could pull the spec sheet up and get that to you.
I'll send you the spec sheet over.
Because they just redesigned it last year again. They hadn't touched it about 12 years. It's been running smooth. And then we found one contract happened to find a couple little spots inside where the filter is racked. And as soon as we sent the photos, again, since everything is made in-house right in Vermont, Bill Fowler went right to their factory and said, all right, you know what? I've been wanting to add a few tweaks to this thing anyway, and just redid a whole
yeah.
bunch of stuff on it. So
What about the insulation product? What are they using on the inside there? Is it fiberglass? Is it like a rubber?
no, it's that silver. What would you call that, Ron? It's not that cheap
Yeah.
black foamy stuff. It's
Right.
actually, when you open the box, you can see it shines because it's got that nice silver.
Maybe
Yeah.
like something you'd see in a furnace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not low end. Yeah, this is good. I just don't know what you call it because I don't build them. I just sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron's done a lot of great work with those support boxes. Those again were the unsung hero. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
buying other people's straight throughs, other people's right angles, but that support box shines alone. I mean, nobody's been able to beat that quality.
They're popular, and in the price sheet you'll see fully powder coated. You'll see, or you can get those things stripped down without insulation, without a filter in them.
Galvanized, yeah.
Yeah, galvanized. So depends what you want. Like Scott mentioned, the good, better, best scenarios. Some people like good, some people like high end. Like aesthetically, like they're really nice to look at. I mean, they match your system. So yeah, it is cool. And then for the contractor, so if a contractor orders, so if I think 6 pallets come per pallet for the support boxes.
6 support boxes, yeah.
Yeah. If a contractor is ordering a full pallet, we can put their name on there for free. And that's free advertisement for every time a homeowner goes in the basement. And that's regardless if you're doing galvanized or fully painted. We can put their name on those.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't care.
Good info.
Yeah. Cool. I will send follow up for you guys. I'll have the ASHRAE recommendations. I'll have a link to our blog. I'll have the Solaris cell sheet. And I'll send you some information on the UVP 6000, that standalone unit, and also send you the spec sheet for the support boxes too.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Okay, plenty
Absolutely.
of work to do.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you want us to reach out to your contractors, or if they want to sit in on one of these trainings, feel free to reach out. We can set up another one.
Perfect.
Set it up.
Cool.
Awesome.
I appreciate it, guys.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good
Yeah,
week.
thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care.